Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. So we have waited for a few minutes for everyone to join, so we can get it started. So once again, welcome to DevOps with AWS online training with joindevops.com, and we can just go ahead with a little bit agenda today. So the agenda for today's session is going to be, so what are the roles of a DevOps engineer? Okay, so we'll understand what this guy actually do, by the way, in the organizations, and aligning to that, by the way. So we understood what he does, and our learning also has to be relatively needed for the same thing, right? So we'll understand how the training roadmap will be, and after that we'll talk about what are your next steps, by the way, and as well as what are the training timings and timelines for this whole thing, by the way. So this is what we'll just uh, talk in the next few minutes, maybe until just few minutes, by the way. So please hold your questions if you have any, and we would like to address that maybe once after we cover the agenda part. Okay, so then we'll spend enough time basically to um, you know answer all your questions. That's fine. All right, so to start with, so let's go with the understand the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer. But before to that, hey everyone, my name is Raghu, and I'm having or I am the trainer for this particular training program, and I'm having almost like 15 years of experience working as in the IT industry, and almost 13 years into as a trainer itself, and almost trained more than 5,000 people on different technology, like at least from past 7 years, majorly focused on only with DevOps with cloud. I'm still working guy on one of the organization, and so like basically like this is what I do is just like a freelancing, by the way. All right, so that's about quite bit introduction about myself, and let's get on to the actual agenda. So which is what are our roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer? So if you need to understand that, so probably we need to understand where actually this role comes from. This role actually comes from a place where we run the product development. In organizations, there are companies who develop the products, like maybe very well-known products you can consider, maybe WhatsApp as a product, right? Facebook as a product, maybe Amazon.com is a product. So these are all products, by the way, so which are having uh, which are being hosted inside your somewhere in the somewhere inside their place, and you're accessing them over the web, by the way. So the web-based applications. So these are web-based applications, majorly known as web-based applications. Maybe you install a mobile also, but still the layer is going to be web, right? So that's the major business today. Market is moving on. Everyone is trying to get onto the web-based business, rather than none of these softwares you install in your desktop and use it, right? Amazon.com software you're not installing, Facebook.com software you're not installing, right? So on your systems, you're not doing that. Maybe WhatsApp, they're doing something, that's okay, they're giving it, that's okay, but again, not everyone is doing that. But again, even though they provide the software, it's again behind the scene, it's all web. Now you need to understand, so there is more of web-based business going on, right? While that particular business is going on, so that means hosted on somewhere on the so somewhere accessible over the web. That means this software is running in some of the machines, by the way, right? On somewhere, if WhatsApp is there, WhatsApp is running their software in some machines. If Netflix is there, Netflix is running their software on some machines. Now that is accessible to us. Now our role comes start there, by the way. Now our roles and responsibilities is to manage that particular infrastructure, where these applications are running. Okay, that is one thing. And the second thing is, so you have to do CI/CD. Okay, that means you need to empower the process of the development to ensure the releases, the software changes which is coming will be released much faster. Okay, and in order to assure all these particular things, you need to kind of write some automation with some scripting and all. Okay, you need to develop scripting and automate the things, and you need to solve certain problems around that. Okay, that is what is your roles and responsibilities. The whole involves in your role. All right, and to do this, by the way, you need to learn certain things. Maybe like as a person, like if you do the manual work, it is not all possible. So we're working in a more of a tool world. So that's where you need to learn some tools in order to achieve all these particular things. All right. So, and now the big question comes into picture in everyone's mind is, what to learn, by the way, right? So maybe you're trying to join our training. Maybe we have shared you some course curriculum. Maybe you try to explore in somewhere else in the internet. They will tell you their own story, by the way. It's a big question mark, right? So you need certain clarity in that particular area, like, so what to learn, or what to learn is second thing. While you're learning the things, okay, so are you learning the right needs? Okay, fine, I'm learning this, but is there something it is needed in the market? Okay, and you don't know about it, right? So maybe some people are working, maybe you have some fair idea, but people who are actually newly looking into this technology, maybe not working in IT, or maybe, okay, you're switching from another IT role to here. So now while this is a new area, is always a question mark. Okay, so now how to, okay, get a clarity on this particular one. So we would like to start the journey from there. So let's understand, okay, even for both of us, by the way, now let's not rely on my words. Let's not rely on your thoughts, by the way. So let's take a common understanding, or let's go with a common forum, what people are talking about it. Okay, when I say people, I wanted to go more of the community, by the way. So there's a community, okay, which is helping in people to take the learning paths on different tech around, especially on the IT, by the way. Now we can rely on their data, by the way. And it's a very good data. Okay, a lot of intellectuals and working together and producing that particular data. So that's where you can rely on that particular information. It's just a third party. So which neither belong to me or neither belong to you. So we can just rely on that particular information. So that is basically is roadmap.sh. There's a website called as roadmap.sh. This website provides roadmap to uh, different uh, different roles in the IT industry, by the way. Yeah. So these are the different roadmaps, and they talk about if you want to become a uh, any of these developer related okay roadmaps, you can just follow that. These are role based, and there are some skill based, okay, and some best practices approaches and things like that. Okay, they provide different roadmaps, and along with that, so these guys are actually, if you come down, you will understand these roadmap.sh is the sixth most starred project on GitHub. So in the number of likes in GitHub, it's the most sixth starred project. Okay, so it is not just like a single person doing the things. So it is very good in uh, providing the accurate information. So from many people, by the way, so they collaboratively update this particular information. So that's where uh, they start somewhere in the sixth place or somewhere. I don't know how the search is happening here, but somewhere it should be coming here. Okay, in the number of most stars, by the way. All right, so that's what they'll tell. And yeah, so there's a community created roadmaps, not a personal, doesn't belong to any any kind of a training academies like us, by the way. So it's an individual contribution, but somewhere other where you might see some ads, by the way. So just to run their business, to drive the community efforts. Okay, you'll see some other ads, by the way, but that's okay. But here is a pure data. So now out of this, this is the DevOps, by the way. And in order to understand uh, what to learn to become a DevOps engineer, so this is what they will be talking about. So this is your roadmap should be looking like. And they talk about different verticals in different areas, by the way. You're going to work on different areas, and those particular areas is being provided in a yellow color. Okay, and again inside that they'll talk about multiple things inside that. And out of that, so here you're going to have is a purple color, so telling you the personal recommendation from the community. And this particular opinion also comes with certain aspects. By the way, one of the aspect is how widely used in the market, what is a futuristic scope in the market. Okay, so considering these particular aspects, they'll provide you the information, right? So that is how you're going to get a suggestion. And here are the suggestions. What we are doing is we're cherry picking those particular suggestions. That means, we're picking one best in that particular area, and we form the syllabus, and we're actually driving the syllabus. And this is our whole source of truth for what to teach. Okay, I'm not keeping any thought of my mind around this. Whatever these guys are telling, I'm blindly following that, and I know that, okay, this is the best, by the way. So that is where we are actually sourcing this third party information and building our training content, and we're delivering that particular content. Okay, so that's how our program is actually designed. And so here, coming to the roadmap, like, how our training look like. So when it comes to uh, our structuring, okay, so taking the same thing, by the way, so when we actually make it our construct around that particular same content. Okay, how am I doing this is basically, so here you're going to, I'll show you with a quick mind map, by the way. So we are going to start with Linux. We'll learn with this particular Linux. Okay, we'll start from Linux, and after learning some Linux skills, by the way, so what we will be doing is our while the Linux itself is going on, so there is another line come into picture, so which is AWS. Okay, so the journey also goes in this particular path as well, and along with that, so here also it will come. So then the next one is going to be is a project. So project one, I would say. So project one is a bit small project. We're going to start with, and we're going to take that particular project. And after that, so here we talk about how to project setup and all. And after that, so there is a topic called as shell scripting that will come into picture. Okay, and next one is the next one is Ansible. Okay, as a tools wise, by the way. So as a tools wise, Ansible will come into picture, and the next one is we'll be talking about the monitoring stack. So it will be like ELK will come into picture, and after that, another monitoring system or log. Previous one is a log aggregation tool, and this one is Prometheus and Grafana. So these two comes into picture. Sorry. And next is you're going to get is a Terraform. So you'll get some Terraform starting here. And that means, like, so why I'm taking this line is you will learn the project. Okay, so you need to understand this. So we are going to understand projects, and then the project will have some problems, and those problems will learn shell scripting and will implement with shell scripting. And shell scripting have some problems around dealing with the project. So we'll go with the Ansible. Now, after learning Ansible, so the project will have still more problems coming in, and those will be addressed through ELK. And after learning ELK, the problems of project is still open. So actually, what we do is we will, in fact, actually talk about listing down project list issues. Okay, so this is what we'll do. So that means, like, let me just show you again from our previous batches. By the way, there's the same mind map. We'll use it. For an example, an ongoing batch, which is a 74th batch. So this is how our mind map again looks like. So this is in the middle, by the way. Some of the, so some of the problems has been addressed, and those red color has been come into the green color. Okay, we'll build something, everything around that. Or else if I go back to maybe a month back started one batch, by the way, you will see most of them as in red color only. Okay, you'll not see much green. So because we just started working on that. Okay, and the next one is maybe I have completed a batch probably. So I'll go to the a completed batch. So something like 73, which was completed a month back. Now, if you look into this, guys, by the way, so we'll have all the problems on the listed down problems. All the problems will be solved into green, by the way. Maybe that is not that much clear, but still understand the color wise. Okay, this is what we do, right? So that's where. So first of all, basically, so we'll list down the problems, and based on the problems, we'll be going with the other guys. Okay, so that means the problems of the project is still there. So and that's where we'll go on to the Prometheus and Grafana, and the problems of the project is still there. So still not all problems solved. So more problems are there. So we're going to learn Terraform and set up the things. Okay, so but after learning the Terraform, so you will get a decent knowledge on many tools, by the way, to set up a complete project. Now the full automated project we're going to see here. Okay, so project full setup, end-to-end automation. So complete what all the requirements we have. So we'll do that with end-to-end automation in the next after this particular Terraform section we're going to do here. Okay, so this is the roadmap. And while these tools are going on, we just don't go with tool by tool. On the other line, by the way, there's an Amazon guy is also there. So we'll be learning the AWS related things as well. So while you start learning the AWS, at the moment you started learning Linux immediately in the same week in parallel. So this learning also will start, by the way. So here we are going to learn some services, by the way. So the EC2 has one service, and and the next one is maybe you will learn some parameter store. So to store some parameters and secrets, and slowly you will be learning about IAM rules and policies, or IAM. Let me keep it simple, IAM. So whatever it is there in IAM, you'll start learning them as well. Okay, and then you will be getting someplace. You will be learning about something called as S3. Okay, so that is the one. And also we talk about networking concepts like VPC, and these are also aligned to the project only. So it's not I'm blindly not learning these particular things. Every time somewhere again these list of issues is actually there, and those are also being solved by some tools and some cloud services. But this is the major one. Okay, you need to understand this is a major guide. So this is the one which is the whole course will be driving. This guy is the one which drives the course, by the way. Issues. Okay, and the next one is VPC, and after that again you will learn some. After learning some VPC, you will learn some real-time concept called as AWS landing zone. Okay, so AWS landing zone concepts you will learn, and from there again you will learn some database concepts like DocDB. Okay, and also you will learn some other services like RDS, and you will learn some tools like Elastic Cache. Okay, these are other things. And then we'll also learn something called as auto scaling. Okay, so auto scaling, and then they'll talk about something called as load balancers. Load balancers. Load balancers. And after that, you'll be learning the and after that you'll be learning the some other things are also there. So which is maybe like so the last major one is going to be is our important one, especially like KMS. Okay, so key management service. So these are the things that you will learn in parallel into this. Now, while after your completion of by this time, okay, at the project full setup, by the way, you'll get all these particular concepts in clarity, and that's where so these one by one after learning it, maybe that's just an hour to understand it. And after completing this particular journey, so what we're going to do is apply all this particular knowledge in the project full setup, by the way. You will learn, you'll learn many tools, and those particular tool knowledge you'll set up on the project, you will learn the things. Okay, and you'll learn many Amazon things, and all those particular things also you keep it on the Amazon, on the project full setup automation. All this particular knowledge, cooked in, like, so shaped in, and kind of do a project, by the way. Okay. And once this structure is ready, okay, so then another journey will start in picture. So there are more things come into picture, which is something called as, you'll be learning something called as, or even the project setup is done, by the way, but project stabilization will be there. So once you set up the project, it is not so stable. Okay. You need to ensure it is stable. This is also a very important thing that will, that will come in. And after project stabilization, so once this is done, so then probably what we'll do is we'll learn about, so a concept called as CI/CD and a tool which is going to help us in that particular area, which is Jenkins. Okay. So CI/CD has one particular thing. So it will go with many tools, by the way. So especially Jenkins, SonarQube. Okay. SonarQube, Nexus. All right. And then so some security tools like so check marks. Will explain you those. Maybe we don't implement this. These are paid tools, by the way, but I'll just show you certain things around this, like check marks and all. Okay. And this is something that in a CI/CD area, so many tools will get covered in that particular area, and we'll do this. And again, after project stabilization, so all these particular, you learn these particular things and you'll again implement onto the project. So your project is already fully established and you are doing a CI/CD on your project. Okay. Now, once after this is done, so then we'll start the actual release strategies. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with a release strategy. So we are going to go with the release strategy, and in the release strategy, by the way, so we're going to go with mutable approach and immutable release strategy. So there are two things is there. So there is a mutable approach and there's a immutable approach. Okay. Now what all this, you don't worry. Maybe you'll learn that in the training. That's okay. But there's a release strategy, by the way. So when I release an application, see now how, okay, Google, you may not see in a very much downtime, by the way, right? So because most of their apps are very much stable, you'll not see too much downtime around them. Like, their strategy is very important in order to achieve that. So you'll learn two strategies here. Okay, so this is one thing. And also after this, again, so the tools wise, again, you will learn something like Docker, and you'll be learning something like Kubernetes. Let me put it together only. Kubernetes, and again, Helm charts. So tooling wise, so the container tool stack is these three things. And again, you will learn these particular things. And in the release strategy again, okay. So here, next one is if I go with the container strategy, okay, which is this Docker and Kubernetes, this also will come. Okay. Now the container, especially after learning this, again we'll come to this guy. Okay. So this is how it is going to be. All right. And everything is done, by the way. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same exercise, whatever we have done for second project. Okay. So for project 2 also, we'll go and list the issues. Maybe this way. All right. So you are going to learn some project 2, and this particular project 2 also will learn the issues. Okay. And the flow from, again, the cycle will start here. Okay. So the second iteration, by the way, so we'll have another project, another project also, the same cycle will happen. Okay. Maybe on the second iteration, by the way, so you will not have much learning on the tools. You'll have some, because it's a big project, by the way, you will get some deeper concepts of shell scripting. You'll get some deeper requirements of Ansible, more things around ELK. Like in the second iteration, you'll learn more things. Okay. So this is how the plan is going to be in the training. Okay. So now whatever we have done, I mean, you have some miscellaneous tools as well. Those also will come into picture. Like especially like if you look into the roadmap data search, maybe some of the things we have not explained here, like HTO, okay, or maybe something like Argo CD. So we're still using Jenkins as even for GitOps also completely. It also can be achieved, by the way. That's okay, but you have some exclusively tools coming in there. So whereas in Jenkins, that also can be achieved as some part. But yeah, so this also can be, that we are doing that with Jenkins. That's okay. And like you have container management, you have Kubernetes, you have log management, you have ELK, Elasticstack. And going back here, infrastructure monitoring, application monitoring, New Relic is there. So the New Relic also will come into picture while I, it is my roadmap. Sorry. So while I do this actually, so a New Relic also I'll explain here. Okay. New Relic will come and what next? So telemetry, Prometheus, Grafana, I already mentioned. Secret management, by the way. So here these guys are giving Vault, HashiCorp Vault, but we have Amazon ecosystem around it. So that's where we are going to use Amazon parameter store for storing the secrets. Okay. So we're going with a cloud native solution rather than a tool here. But end of the day, the solution is same. So you're going to have secrets. Okay. So that's where it is. And the next one is the CI/CD tools. You are going to have it Jenkins, and even for GitOps also we are using Jenkins completely. And the configuration management you have Ansible. And so here we're going to go with the serverless Lambda. You will learn, by the way. So actually, I mentioned it somewhere. So somewhere Lambda also will come here, and we'll write some Lambda programs. And Terraform is already there, so which is fine. And before to that, so here even you have here some networking models. You will know about some of these particular protocols. You will learn there. And coming to the cloud, you have AWS, and containers you have Docker. Okay, which is fine. And these are all concepts, by the way. So you will learn proxies. Okay, and how do you deal with your OS level things? Some editor, some shell scripting is there in the syllabus. A web server Nginx is there in the syllabus. Okay, so from the project perspective, and the OS will pick up one of these again. RHEL is the one which will pick it up. And coming to the scripting language or programming language that you learn is Python, by the way. Okay. So whatever the areas which we have here, so we are actually trying to cover all those particular areas in our training, by the way. So this is the roadmap, and it is how it is going to, our training is going to look like. Okay. So that covers the first part of our agenda. So we would like to go with understanding, okay, so what is the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer, and aligning what are the things that you're going to learn for that. Okay, so that's the major part. And the next one is, so we are actually starting our new batch. This is just, that it's a pre-demo. There'll be one more demo, which will be having even in more, maybe double click on these particular areas, by the way. So one more demo will be there, but it actually starts from October 15th. Okay, so you know that. And so there is a month time, right? So close to maybe a month or 20 days, maybe, right? So there's a 20 days of time for that. And so this demo, intention of this particular demo is to mainly help you in understanding, like, how can you utilize this 20 days of time, by the way, whatever you have it, right? So that's a major agenda for this particular whole session today. So that's where, so let's mark it as three things. So probably if you understand this, so basically, like, there are two areas which is coming in parallel. And again, by the way, so here to New Relic. So I did not mention about you will learn some Python. So okay, and some AWS more services are there, like, so security related things, and I not mentioning everything. That's okay. So you can go through the syllabus. You have something called as EKS. Okay, so you have these are AWS services, by the way. You have WAF, you have Shield. Okay. So these some security services are there, and you also get something called as ACM. You'll learn what is an ACM. It's all small things. Okay, so but still, okay, if you go through the syllabus which is given to you, so maybe you'll find out full details there. All right. So just on the high level, this is the one. And again, yeah, coming back, by the way, so what are the three major areas we would like to help you in, so to learn the things in a better way. So that is one is Linux, I would say. So Linux is okay. So Linux is one of that you need to understand that Linux is very important. For a beginner, by the way, that's a new thing. And this is also like AWS for a beginner is a new thing, or Python, or in the programming side, automation side, this is also a new thing, by the way. So these I would consider this as three different areas, okay, for you to start looking in, and you can utilize these 20 days to learn those particular things. Okay, so right. So this is what is okay. Three verticals I would consider, okay, to in my visualization, in my mind map. Okay, if you can just at least have an intros to these particular three things, it would be great for you to start the course. Okay, you can able to pick it up a bit faster. That's the only thing. We'll also teach you these things, but having an intro and second time learning, by the way, maybe it is much easier for you to understand the things. You already have a context, and now you get a project context, especially, right? Maybe, okay, so while you start learning in these 20 days, maybe you pick up some YouTube channel or somewhere. Okay, so some Linux introductions, you'll start learning those things, and maybe some AWS basics you'll also pick up from internet, but you just understand the basics. But this projects, by the way, so whatever you have is a very major important thing. You will not have that project contest in those particular projects. Okay, so that you are going to learn here, by the way, right? So that means that the second time while you're learning the things, it is going to be much easier for you. Okay, so for these particular 20 days, what we would suggest is, okay, so pick up these particular three areas, mark it down, note it down somewhere. Now start learning those particular things. Maybe whatever you can, okay, that's fine. Just gain the context. Context is very important. Gain the context. Okay, so that is what is we would like to suggest you for the next 20 days. What is your plan? Okay, you can do that. And if you need any guidance, like, probably you did not find it out, so where to learn Python, where to learn AWS, probably reach out to us. We'll help you with the, so providing that particular information. I mean, it is again, so there are enough good intros videos available in the market. So you can definitely learn from them there. Okay, no doubt in that. So we'll learn from that. That's fine. All right. So that is how our roadmap is actually going to be for next 20 days. You please utilize the time. The time is the only costliest thing that you can't buy, right? So that's where, so please utilize that particular 20 days of time, and you ensure that you have gained some knowledge. Your whole training is going to be much effectively and easily to learn, by the way. So that's the only idea. If you have any gap also, probably in the course, again, we'll reiterate the same topics again. You can clarify from there as well. That's also okay. Okay. And yeah, so that would be the most part of the agenda for today. And before to that, even, so one last term, by the way, or one last thing that I would like to also, or we are being telling to our students, by the way, is, okay, so start producing the content. Okay, so today you learn some Linux, right? So maybe some 2 commands you have learned. Now probably what you do is you start putting that particular knowledge into convert into your documents. Okay, maybe produce it in Medium, okay, or produce in LinkedIn. Okay, it does not really matter. Now build your portfolio. Okay, so that portfolio is going to really help you, by the way, in some days. Okay, at the early starting of our career, where Stack Overflow is a very new thing, by the way. Stack Overflow launched in sometime in 2008. Okay, so by 2009 2010 I built some portfolio around that. Okay, that means I produced a lot of questions and I answered a lot of questions out there, and that helped me in a lot of visibility on what I know, okay, versus what people are doing. Okay, versus to also to check like what I know is really the, I mean, I know the things or not, right? So then also that, I mean, that portfolio really helped me in, marketing also. That means like, one interview I attended, okay, and they were exclusively looking for, automation kind of good guy, by the way. And they asked me like, how can you rate yourself? And I have clear, I mean, on some context, I went ahead and told, hey, I wrote some Stack Overflow questions also around the scripting. So then immediately they went ahead and, looked in my portfolio, and no questions asked, offer has been released. Okay, so it's just a marketing strategies, right? So you have to market yourself, you have to sell yourself. So that means someone is buying you for some package, right? So that means you have to sell better, okay? And also you have to be show that you are the better guy. Start producing the content, okay? While you produce is going to help you in two ways. One is on a long term, in a long term way. um, it is going to help you in, so that portfolio is going to help you in a short term. Also it will help you while you learn some two commands, and while you're writing the real things, by the way, that what you learned, then you'll start getting clarity, okay? So that is what generally we would suggest our students. And just try to ensure, okay, you do the thing first, okay? Now, I mean, generally, like, so I mean, it's not about everyone, but just let's talk about talking about the scenario. So we observe certain people, so simply come to us saying that, hey, I have this issue. When we put a question that, what you have done to solve that particular issue, they wouldn't answer. Okay. So just training, you are looking, you're coming to the training, you're paying the money, no doubt in that. But while you are also paid to that, by the way, so you take the best outcome. Okay. The best outcome only comes while you practice. If we help, okay, today we are there, we'll help you, okay, fine. So you get the, so you get the issues around this particular project. But the whole goal about this any training is basically is any new project to given to you, also you should be able to position to do the things, right? So two project we're teaching, that doesn't mean that your life ends with two projects, right? So you always day by day, okay, you learn the things, right? So that's where about myself also, I've told, like, so I'm still working and still learning, right? So every day, okay, you have to spend some time to learn the things. Otherwise you will get outdated very soon in the market. You can't be competitive with the people. So that's where, so when you actually also start doing the things, spend some decent amount of time, okay, to start solving those particular issues. And also that will help you in the methods of the training which we are going to take. By the way, the training method which we are trying, at least we are doing here, is a greenfield approach. When we say greenfield approach, we don't, I mean, like any online content, by the way, like let's say if you have any pre-recorded sessions, okay, so what the people will do is they'll bring you the pre-written content. So a lot of tools over here, they'll already, make certain things in the background and just try to explain the things, especially around the code and all. Okay, they'll just write the things already pre-written and come to the, and they'll make a recording of a video that how they have written it. But they'll not show you right starting from the scratch, and they'll not show you, okay, and these especially online trainings, they'll make it more perfect, and that's why they'll never show you the issues also. But our things is not like that, okay? So we are going to do a greenfield approach. Every character, whatever we do for the training, is developed before your eyes only. That means I will do in the first, I will do in the live training, and in the next, after the training, so you have to do the same thing, by the way. So because I already shown you how to do that, you have a video for reference, you have my code for reference, and correlating those things, most of your problems will be solved. But still, if it is not there, so we'll also have other mediums of helping you. There's a Slack channel, there's a GitHub discussions, there's even a daily lab query sessions also will be there. Every day it will be run. Okay, so that's where, okay, so at least we are going to help you. But before taking the help, just ensure that, so you are helping yourself in the first iteration. If you're not able to help yourself, then probably reach out to the trainer. And I mean, we're stressing this particular point because our whole intention is you're paying money and you need to learn, by the way, right? Not like paying the money. That means like if paying the money is equal to learning, then probably you would have become the DevOps engineer in the next hour itself, right? After you complete the payment transaction. That's not the reality, right? So you have to learn. So just follow our practices, whatever we suggest. So, and also these things we're telling, so with a lot of experience, doing the same thing again and again. Okay. So we have more context, okay, around that. So that's where, bringing, compiling so many data points, we are actually trying to suggest these particular things. Okay. So that's the whole idea for this particular, for this particular today's session. So just to, okay, relist or, so recollect what all the points we have discussed. So we understood what are the DevOps engineer roles and responsibilities. And we talked about there are certain third party, okay, people, a community, by the way, which they are telling, okay, if you want to become a DevOps engineer or SRE engineer, both are same only. Don't consider it as different. Okay. So both guys are same only. and it's just only the context. I always tell, like, if someone asks me, people ask me, what is the difference between DevOps and SRE? And the simple answer I'll give is, okay, you have hands, two hands you have. Okay, so it is a hand like that. Okay, engineer is like a hand. Now there's a left side hand, there's a right side hand. Both are hands only, right? So the hand onto the left side is called as a left hand. The hand on the right side is called as a right hand. But both does the same job, right? So that's where the same thing is basically, but the way you look in different, right? So that's where the DevOps versus SRE is also going to be the same thing. Okay. End of the day, your tool stack is going to be same, but the way you look at the product is different. And the area of work is going to be a bit different. But end of the day, tool stack is going to be different. So maybe at initially, by the way, you don't really need to differentiate those two guys. Okay, which is fine. And yeah, so I was talking about the points that we have covered so far, roles and responsibilities, and assuming, so are not considering this particular roadmap.sh, we built our codes because this doesn't belong to me. Okay. So, and this doesn't belong to anyone, by the way. So it's a general thing, what the people are, they're helping people in learning the thing. So that's where, okay. So this roadmap.sh is what we're picking it up and we're going to do the things. And the next one is, I have mentioned, so our training will start from October 15th, which is going to have next 20 days, by the way, in the next 20 days. So what is that you can do, utilize your time. So probably learn some Linux, learn some AWS, learn some Python. Okay. Anyhow, we'll teach again in the training as well, but please utilize the time so that in the next iteration, while you are doing the things in the training, it will be easier for you. And also explain how the roadmap will look like for our training. And the next one is what I mentioned is, so follow certain practices. So maybe while you start learning the things, produce the content, build your portfolio is what I mentioned. So start building your LinkedIn portfolios, maybe a Medium portfolio, start building, write something. You don't need any followers. First thing, you need to understand that. Okay. You don't really need any followers. Okay. So that should not be your area of interest. Your area of interest is produce it. That's it. Okay. On a long term, it is going to help you. And even while producing it also, it will help you, by the way. Okay. What you learn is when you're actually putting on the paper, you will come to know that what you know, by the way, is the reality or not. Okay. Then you'll start seeing some gap. Then you again go back and fill that particular gap. Again, come back and produce that particular content. So this is what our suggestion is. Also, like while learning the things, please ensure you do the thing a couple of times before reaching to anyone. That will help you on a long term again. Okay. While you actually join an organization, okay, people are paying you to solve the problem now rather than you reach out to anyone to solve your problem, right? It doesn't make sense. So you have to start learning that particular mindset right from here itself. Okay. So these are our best practices I was mentioning. And I think that's all basically I wanted to mention in this particular session. Okay, thank you. And if you have any questions, please go ahead. I can answer. Please raise your hand so that I can allow you to talk if you have any question. Otherwise, keep it in the chat. Thank you. Anyone? Any questions? You can raise your hand to talk.
Hey, hi, good morning.
Yeah.
Bhalu Prakash.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm holding an experience of somewhere in 7 years in the IT organizations. So I just wanted to know, like you said, project 1 and project 2, and as well as you have listed some of the tools like Ansible, ELK, Terraform, Docker, and everything. I mean, like I just wanted to know whether you are going to teach us from the scratch or the project-related content on those tools in the
From scratch.
okay. And the project 1 and project 2 would be showcasing in our resume as well, right? It would be good, right? Just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot. It was a nice session.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi Raghu, good morning. This is Ansar Poguru.
Yeah.
So my question is, I have 10 years of experience in IT. So if I get trained this DevOps training, am I able to join as a DevOps engineer by putting 5+ years of experience in the other company?
Yeah, let me just restructure your words by the way. If you attend the training, you can't keep 5 years. If
Yeah.
you learn from the training, yes, you can keep some 3 years easily.
Yeah, no. What I would like to convey, if I master, if I learn, if I practice very well, like learning AWS, Linux, and the project completion as well. So I'm able to put only 3 years. What you are trying to say,
Easy. I'm saying
right?
easy.
Easily. Okay.
In a
Based
hard
on my,
way, you can go more. No
yeah.
worries.
Okay, and also, the experienced guys who have 10+ years of experience, they already got good packages like 25 plus or something, right? So if someone will reach to other company with this DevOps experience with 30 or 40% hike, so are they ready to pay that amount?
So with the 10 years of, if 10 years guy earning 20 lakhs of package in a market, he is very much underpaid by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Thanks. It's a very good session, by the way.
Hi Raghu, how are you?
Yeah. Yes, Nanish. Go ahead.
See, I'm learning AWS as of now. I'm working in IT as a network engineer, but I have multiple roles. I'm doing security and other things as well. So currently I'm learning AWS. Linux, I had exposure before, but I need to refresh that. But can you provide something where I could go for Python, means from the basic, any source, anything? So if these 20 days I can do some basic for Python.
Yeah. So we'll send you. No problem. I
Okay.
just made a note. I'll send you.
Also, fee structure for this course, please send that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Hi Raghu, it's the same question, whatever. If you have any something for Python, could you please share with me as well?
Sure. We'll send to everyone. That's okay. And it's up to you whether you pick this one or someone, does not really matter. So don't worry on that.
Yeah, hi Raghu. This is Vijay Bhaskar.
Yeah.
So I have a query like once like I completed this course, so like I can attempt like this AWS certification, get that content led general, or we need to do again some another.
No need to. You can, but you have to do some reading because AWS certification is all about non-practical things. Okay, they talk about a lot of theory and their content structure, right? So that's where you have to go through their so that documentation, especially to crack the interviews. But you need to exclusively attend for a training, by the way, because you get more context than that.
And one more thing, so like we will attend interview like we are going as a DevOps engineer. So this certification is mandatory or?
In Indian market, it is necessarily not needed, by the way. So having a certificate will not bypass your interview. One thing you have to understand. Okay. So whether you hold a certificate or you don't hold a certificate, you have to go through the interview process. Correct?
Yeah.
So that's where the certificate will not help you, but knowledge will help you. That's what I'm telling you. So you, even though after this also you go through that complete exercise of AWS certification course, I don't mind. But certificate is completely not necessary in Indian market. I'm stressing again, in Indian market. Okay. If you want to plan to somewhere in any other countries, in certain countries, like especially like USA, people where work with more of payroll based kind of a thing. That means contract positions. In their contract positions, it will just go with a trust, by the way. Interviews will not be too much around there. Okay. So it'll just, okay. So check your resume, and most of the time, 80% from your resume, it will get shortlisted. So that is the way that they work actually there. Okay. They go with all the consultancies and things like that. The trust comes from the consultancy. So that's where it works. But in Indian market, where the permanent roles you generally work here, it does not really matter. But is as a good to have, but not a must to have in your profile.
Oh,
Yeah. But knowledge is must, either of the way.
yeah. Thanks. Thanks.
Hey, hi, Raghu. This is Bala.
Yeah.
Just now I went through the website actually. I have seen the syllabus and there is something called low-level syllabus. Are we going to cover all topics from the low-level syllabus in the training session or training period?
Okay. Can you be a bit louder? I did not hear you properly.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are audible, but somehow in between it was thus not clear. Come again, let's see.
I have actually gone through the website. There is something called low-level syllabus. So are we going to cover all the topics from the low-level syllabus?
Okay, let me go through the website. So where are you talking about?
Go to syllabus. Yeah. So if you scroll down, there is a low-level syllabus we have.
Yeah, low-level syllabus means like double click is what is mentioned, right? So everything listed the points. Yes, correct.
Okay, so we are going to cover, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, we don't keep it there, right? So just.
But I just want to confirm that.
Yeah. Raghavendra, I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, so hi Raghu. Yeah, initially I was not able to get this mic option, so I was typing the questions on the QA session. So hope you're able to hear me right now.
Yeah.
So like I already working as a DevOps in like a last to say like a last 1 year to say I was previously have the other experience. Overall I have 6 years of experience, and I migrated 1 year back, but like still I'm not able to do the work on with my own like I'm depending on the other person and taking their inputs and going with the work. And I tried the few other training sessions outside, but they teach very basics on the top level. They're not going in depth of the how the working experience person to be taking of the knowledge. They're not providing that. They go very basics on the top and they say it's done. So that's the reason I was asking the few questions on the chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how deep, like you said, I was about to ask one question that the other already one of the participant has asked, like how like with this training, how many years of experience knowledge will be getting after completion of this training? I was about to ask, and it was already asked by the other participant, and you answered as like a 3 years of experience you can gain of knowledge from these training sessions.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, Raghu.
Yeah. And since you already have the experience around what you mentioned, by the way, so at least this time while you're joining with us, just ensure this is what exactly you're looking for. So maybe I'll ping you the GitHub link. So go through that particular GitHub link,
Yeah.
and you can go with the reducing the numbers 72, 71 like that. So you can just
Okay.
reduce the numbers, and you can see the code, whatever we have written in the training. So each and every character which is shows over here is the things which we have done in the training itself. Okay, it's not any pre-written content. So double check that. Okay, ensure that if you are really looking for such kind of a thing, then if it is the relative one for your requirement, then do join. Because since you already mentioned you're working and you already tried other trainings, and
Yeah, sure, please. Thank you. And how about the can we cover this all things in the 3.5 months, like around like a 1 hour, or sorry, 110 days or 115 days? We can cover all the topics in like at least in the medium range of depth. Can we cover and can we gain that knowledge?
you can, if you really attempt it, by the way.
Okay, sure.
And that comes to that's what, there are two things here. Covering is different, learning is different. Those are two different lines. Don't mix the things. Okay, within 3.5 months, the training will be completed, but your learning may not be completed.
Yes.
Okay. So that is where, okay, you need to ensure you learn the things. And that's where, even for the people who can't able to complete in 3.5 months, which is completely hypothetical. Anyone can't, I think no one can complete. At least like out of these 4,000 people, I would say 4 or 5 people only has done that job with me. Okay. So it is very difficult, no doubt in that. But at the same time, even after extending the, so even after completing the course also, you'll still have the connectivity with me as a trainer. So you'll have the forums, like you can daily even talk to me even after completing the training. Your learning line, you keep it separate. Your course, like training program, like live training program is a separate line that will continue and complete. That has a pulley stop, but your learning will not have. Maybe you may take 6 months. That's okay. But still, even after the training, you have a connectivity with the trainer every day, by the way. So for you, still, if you have any problem around the lab issues or any questions, you'll still have the connectivity even after 6 months. But just I'm telling, at least you take 6 months also, it is fine. That is okay. So that's where don't just mix the things and confuse. Within 3.5 months, only the training will be, training content will be completed, not the learning part. Yeah.
Thanks, Raghu.
Right.
Hi, Raghu. How long we can utilize the lab?
There's no limitation. There's no dot actually.
Okay, thank you. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, this is Bala again.
Yeah.
So we are going to have few projects, right? Like we are going to do few projects in the course.
Right.
So of course, definitely we need to take some AWS account, right?
Yeah.
How is it going to happen? Like, are we going to spend any extra money, or how it costs actually?
Yeah. You have to pay the bill. The bill that comes around $10 to $15 on an average per month.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone? Any other questions? Okay, we're right on time, I think. So just an hour we were able to complete it. So please ensure you utilize the next 20 days of time if you plan to join this particular session. So please ensure utilize this time, and we will pay you. Sorry, not pay. We'll send you the. Okay, so whoever is attendance today, so we'll send you the content, like where to learn Linux from, where to learn Python from, perhaps as well. To everyone, by the way. There's no necessary that you need to follow that only. Okay, you can follow any other, of your comfort. You can just go with that, but just don't get again too much into that again. Okay, so context is important. Okay, so there's a program, how to run Python program. Okay, how he's writing Python program. Okay, in Python program, there's a concept called as a variable. Okay, like to that, okay, understanding is very important. Okay, so try to do that. If you are able to practice also, if you have time, very well and good, that's fine. But don't get too much deep into that again. Okay, anyhow, we'll go again completely, but gain the context as much as the context you can able to get it. All right. So thanks everyone, and see you in next session. Bye. Or on October 15th, by the way. Thank you. See you there. Bye.